Oh, kia ora e hoa. Haere mai, come and join me. I've got what should be a perfect bedtime story. Are you in your pyjamas all snuggled down in your bed? Well, if you're not, be careful, you might go to sleep anyway. This is called Sleep is for Babies. It's written by Emily McDowell and illustrated by Julia Hegetusch. And it looks fun, doesn't it? Are you nice and comfy, ready for a story? Let's begin. "Good night," said the father. "Now don't make a peep." But mischievous George did not want to sleep. "Sleep is for babies," he thought, "not for me. There's too much to do and too much to see. Look at that big full moon." So under the light of a silvery moon, rascally George crept out of his room. Oh, what a rascal George is! He swung open the door, stepped into the night, and startled the cat, her back arched in fright. "Come play with me, cat." George got down on all fours. "Let's pretend to be lions. But please, don't use claws." "The sun has long set," the puzzled cat said. "Shouldn't all children be tucked up in bed?" "Sleep is for babies," laughed George, "not for me." So they jumped out at moths and prowled round a tall tree. Then the cat ran away in pursuit of a mouse, leaving George to explore the bush past his house. He heard a loud crashing up in a treetop. Then down to the ground a possum did drop. Can you see the possum? Look how his tail is curled round the branch. He's holding on tight. "Come play with me, possum," begged George. "Pretty please. We can play statues under the trees." "You should be asleep," the possum growled back. "I've no time for games, but I would like a snack." "Sleep is for babies," scoffed George, "not for me." He showered the possum with leaves from the tree. But the possum got tired of life on the ground, and he climbed up the tree yelling, "See you around." George pushed through some flax, and there on a log, croaking contentedly, sat a green frog. "Come play with me, frog. We can make funny faces, take turns at hopscotch, and have lily pad races." "It's late for a little one," said the frog with a frown. "Shouldn't you sleep in your part of town?" "Sleep is for babies," said George with some pride. "I bet I could stay up all night if I tried." The frog and the boy bounced high in the air till the frog found a friend and both frogs disappeared. Plop into the water and off they went. Alone in the dark, George felt ready to cry. But just then an owl swooped down from the sky. George's voice trembled as he started to speak. "Will you play with me, Ruru? Perhaps hide and seek?" He doesn't look very happy, does he? He just wants someone to play with. "A night owl," laughed Ruru, her eyes big and wide. Very well then, I'll count and you go off and hide. George discovered a tree with a hollow his size, then gathered up ferns to make a disguise. "Coming, ready or not," he heard Ruru call. George curled himself into a tight little ball. Can you see George? Look at him. He's all curled up in the hollow in the tree. As he lay in the ferns, all snuggly and cosy, our brave little George began to feel dozy. His head felt all heavy. His breathing soon slowed. And just as his eyelids got droopy and closed, "Found you!" screeched Ruru, right next to his ear. And then more severely, "You look tired, my dear. It is high time for you to get a good rest. The glowworms will help light the way to your nest." Does George have a nest? But he can nestle down in his bed, can't he? So George found his way through the trees to the lawn and into the house as he stifled a yawn. "Sleep is for babies," George murmured. "It's boring. Sleep is for..." Next thing, he was snoring. Can you see him snuggled up with Dad? He got tired after all his adventuring, and he was ready for a great big sleep. If you want to find out more about this book, you can visit scholastic.co.nz and look for it in your local library or bookstore. Maybe you could have it as a bedtime story, or maybe you could come back and read along with me. I love it when you join me for a story. Ka kite. Come and visit me again soon.